you teach us about?
Hey, if you want to come closer, you can come closer.
That he programs. Last week was Computer Science Education Week code, and we had some visitors. A lot of them came in through video conferencing to talk about their work with computer science. But we are lucky enough to have Zach here and this little guy, not really a guy, this little robot named Hoerr. We're going to give him a microphone to talk. It's really important that you stay quiet because we have classes that are connecting with us on video. And if you're making a lot of noise and Zach is trying to talk, and the people on the other end, it's just going to be like chaotic and uncomfortable. So even if you're like, we'll have to do it quiet and excited, okay? Let's just practice once. Ready? Let's just try it. Go. Oh, let's try to get quieter. Ready? Go. Perfect. Okay. So, like I said, this is Zach Hoerr. He's from a company called Hoerr, and he programs robots for a living. How cool is that?
He already does, right?
So I'm going to give this to you, Mr. Hoerr. And I'm going to give this to you just so that people can hear you. Thank you.
So again, it's different people in technology careers that they've made for them.
There you go. Yep.
Hi guys and girls. Like Mr. Kushner said, I'm Zach Hoerr. I work for a company called Hoerr, and this is my friend Yumi. Yumi is
Yeah.
collaborative robots are safe to work in the same space as people. The best way to demonstrate that is to let it move. If I tend to get in Yumi's way, I'll stop moving. So the point of collaborative robots is to help people do their jobs a little bit more easily and safely. So Yumi can help fetch parts that people are putting together. Yumi can help to take pictures of parts in the industrial manufacturing world. And Yumi can also locate parts. The other thing about Yumi is, it can only pick up about half a pound at a time. So it works very small parts like these cubes. Okay to pass these in?
Yes. What you might think of is like a couple slices of cheese. Okay? So if you were able to hold a couple of slices of cheese in your hand, that's about how heavy these are. Okay. So we'll let you see these a little bit later.
Okay. Those parts are also 3D printed, which is another cool thing that I get to do with Yumi. We get to make custom fingers and parts for Yumi to play with. So I have a whole bin back here of these little gripper fingers made to pick up all different shapes and sizes of parts. Everything from the locks on your windows to the buttons on your favorite gaming controller. We make things in all shapes and sizes, and it's because every customer of ours makes a different type of part. You all, Mrs. Muson shared that I get to program. The best part about programming Yumi is that I only have to write a couple of lines of code before it's ready to move. So Yumi doesn't have to be moved around with a joystick. I can actually move it from place to place and save points in space, and then it will follow the order of the points that I give it to. So for example, if I wrote a point out here, a point up here, and a point over here, Yumi would repeat that over and over and act like it was waving to you. And that's something we do for Yumi when it runs out of parts that it's working with. We'll figure out a way to signal somebody to come over and give it something else to do. So we can either turn on a light to let them know that, Yumi's all finished with its job, it needs something else to do, or lift its arm and wave. That's my favorite thing to do. Now, this is a little dance routine that we wrote for Yumi to do. It really shows the dexterity of it. It has a lot of motion profiles, so it moves a lot like a human. And the point of that is to make the people that get to work with Yumi comfortable around it. When you hear the word robot, a lot of people tend to get scared. They tend to think, oh no, something straight out of the movie iRobot. Something that looks like a person, walks around like a person, and does things just like a person would. In this case, Yumi can't leave this table here. But it can do a lot of the things that I can do if I was standing at, say, my kitchen counter. There are a lot of instances where people take robots like Yumi and they do household tasks. I've seen videos of Yumi solving a Rubik's Cube, folding and throwing paper airplanes, even making pancakes. So really, my job is to make Yumi do those things. You'll see.
So Zach, what does Yumi do without you? Can it do anything without you telling it what to do?
No. So until I put code in Yumi, it is basically like your computer. It's waiting for you, the software that it runs, and the mouse clicks that take you from page to page. So what I do is I write hundreds and hundreds of lines of code. And in those lines of code, I'll tell Yumi to do things like turn on an air hose, turn on a light. Again, let people know that Yumi's out of parts. Let people know that the part was made correctly or incorrectly. One thing that we've had Yumi do in the past couple of weeks is we were able to work with a company that makes cookies. And they asked us to figure out a way to have Yumi pick up a row of cookies and put it in a tray. So what I got to do is take a box of cookies home and line them up in front of Yumi and teach it how to pick the cookies up. And it couldn't do it properly until we made the fingers for them to pick up the cookies. If we didn't let our coworkers have them all, I might have brought some. My job is to go out to companies all over Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, New Jersey, and talk to them about what it is that they're struggling with. So a lot of companies have people that are doing the same thing time in and time out, whether it's putting a bottle of lotion in a box or putting a cap on an air freshener. Look at that and they say, this is great to have this person to do this. This person looks very bored.
That's what I was thinking. So when you have cookies, you guys went, oh, that kind of sounds nice. I get to, put cookies and I'll eat a couple. But if you had to do that all day, every day, even cookies would get really boring.
I guess let's just tell you guys a little bit about me as well. So I'm from Maryland. I grew up in Bel Air, and I went to York College, which is right down the road from here. And I have a mechanical engineering degree, which is the opposite of what you would expect somebody that does robot programming to have. I went to school and learned how to do things like build machines, design race cars, how to make things like this car and make them well. And when I joined Penn Air, they tasked me with learning how to work with humans. So I had to go to about 3 weeks of school out in just near Detroit, Michigan, so where the Lions play. In that 3 weeks, I learned how to write code, which to me isn't the most fun thing in the world. But the thing about my code is that it makes things move. So I wish I had something else for you to pick up for you guys.
Exactly.
Oh. A little bit of so there's a 50-50 chance that Yumi actually picks up this block. I say that because I didn't read the lines much. This would be a good example of how scripters work once it gets there. It'll get it this time. So while it's moving to pick those up, it should. Got it. Now that it's found them, you'll notice that it'll do that the same way, time in and time out. And that's the coolest part about robots. That's why we use them. They make things happen the same way over and over. And that all stems back to a big word called consistency.
What is that consistency?
Consistency is a word that means it's done the same way over and over and over again. So a person has to, say, draw a dot on a piece of paper 2,000 times a day. And they're all different pieces of paper, and their goal is to get it as close to the center as they possibly can. That person will probably get it right about 50% of the time. Yumi, if it were doing it, would probably get it right 99 to 100%. So, also, Yumi isn't the only robot that I get to work with. It's the only robot that I was able to bring with me today because it's small. I work with robots that can be big enough to pick up cars, robots that can pick up, maybe not a train, that's a little, robots that can pick up probably a small person. The difference is those robots aren't safe. Those robots are faster, more accurate, but not safe. If they were to come in contact with a person, they wouldn't stop moving. So that's where the other part of my job comes in. It's my job to look at an application, something like putting this and determine what is the safest way that we can do that without a human worker. So I use things like safety guarding, which we make out of the same aluminum that we have on this card up here. We use things like safety switches, which would mean if you open the door where the robot was inside of, all of the electric would turn off. That way nobody could walk in and get hurt by the robot.
I'm wondering what programming language you use, because we've talked in here about, people have seen Blockly and Wonder and Scratch Junior. What kind of programming language is used to make Yumi do what you want it to do?
So Yumi and all ABB robots, ABB is the company that makes Yumi, speak in a language called Rapid. Rapid is a combination of C and Java, and it is a custom language for ABB robots. The way it works is I would set up what's called a robot target, which is a point in space. It could be here, over here, down here on the table, and that point in space has, I guess, 3 coordinates, an X, a Y, and a Z. And once I teach Yumi where that point is, it saves where all of its joints are, all of the parts of it that turn on the arm, and then I can tell Yumi to go to that point whenever I want to in the other lines of code. That's a great question.
Yes.
Okay, your hand is up first. No, so ABB makes the robot. They're actually built in China, and they're shipped all the way here to York, Pennsylvania, and then we get to teach them what to do. And we build whatever we would put on the hands to work with the parts that we're working with at that time.
You said the bigger robots to make it
So you want to know how much weight the big robots can lift?
So the biggest robot can lift 800 kilograms, which means that it can lift 1,640 pounds. So 1,640 would be the largest weight that one of these robots can pick up, which is pretty close to a ton.
So Charlie wants to know what ABB stands for.
ABB stands, honestly, I can't even pronounce it. It's 3 Swedish people's names. And they're very difficult to pronounce.
So you want to know if there's any smaller robots than Yumi that he programs?
Yeah, so actually 2 weeks ago, ABB released a robot that's smaller than Yumi because it's just one of Yumi's arms. So picture one of Yumi's arms sitting in the middle of the table and coming up kind of like how you raise your hand. That would be the smallest that I would program right now.
There are 2 questions from the audience, so let's take those because they might be some of your questions as well. The first question is, can you give the robot a list to read and it will read it?
Yes and no. So I can tell Yumi to, I can't have Yumi audibly speak unless, I guess we could set up a speaker and have it say a certain amount of pre-written answers. So it could tell you, you know, yes, no. I could tell it if we're making pizzas. I could have it say sausage or pepperoni, but it wouldn't be able to think on its own. I would have to have those answers written down.
So robots can't think. The other question is, how old were you when you became interested in coding?
So I actually took my first coding class when I was a freshman in college, so I was 18, and I still wasn't interested until I was about 23, which was last year.
Okay. So one more question from the group chat, and then how about we take one more question from our physical audience. About how much does a robot like this cost?
That's my favorite question.
Okay.
Yumi costs a lot. And I say a lot because right away, everyone assumes, oh, it could be $500,000. It could be $1 million. It could be, you know, $10,000. When I put Yumi out in the field, it usually costs a customer in excess of $100,000 to have it working in their factory.
Okay. So that's like as much as some houses cost, just so you kind of have that in your head. Okay. And then we'll take one more from the audience here.
The girl in the pink shirt.
Nice. So she wants to know what the most dangerous robot is.
The most dangerous robot is probably the one that can pick up a car, the one that has the payload of over 1,000 pounds. And that's just because of the amount of weight that it can pick up. If it's picking up something like a car and it moves incorrectly, it could drop that car on somebody. So that's why we use things like safety fencing. We'll put a fence around the area the robot works in so nobody can get in and have that happen to them.